So that's what I wanted to start with. Like, for example, now, so there's been like what some would call them as like a populist wave growing in Nigeria.
Yes.
And some would say that, okay, it's not really a populist, it's part of like the elite. But like Peter Obi, basically, would you categorize him as like a populist political candidate, like in the case of like Donald Trump, Javier Milei, Marine Le Pen, and the likes? Or will you categorize him as someone that's like a part of the elites?
So I think definitely is a populist candidate. Not maybe the likes of Donald Trump, but more closer to a Javier Milei.
Yeah.
Although without the rhetorics of Javier Milei. Because like we've mentioned some of the things that he said during his candidacy as for the presidency. Like he was trying to take us from consumption to production and trying to cut down government spending because he felt like it was too much. And we all know it's too much.
Yeah.
We have a spending problem and we've not tried to even start to address those issues.
Yeah.
We still buy Prados and Lexus for everybody that has any kind of post.
Yeah.
And so I think he's a populist candidate because like his message to the people is the elites are ripping you off. But I am going there to take power, to bring it closer to you and make a better society that would favor you. So I think he's a populist candidate.
Okay, so but we also have
But without the right-wing rhetorics.
Yeah. But we also have to factor in the fact that he's also like a former governor in Anambra State.
Yes.
He campaigned with one of the most notable elites, Atiku Abubakar,
in 2019.
As his vice president in PDP, one of the most elitist, you want to call it that, parties in the country. Right. So
it looks like part of the establishment.
Yeah, it's like there's that juxtaposition, like, can we really categorize him as a populist or as an elite?
I think we can, because even when he was governor in Anambra, like, he was impeached. No, firstly, like, he won the election, but somebody else was declared as the winner.
Yeah.
And then he had to now go and fight. So you're seeing that, like, he has been doing this fighting with the establishment thing, even from when he was contesting as a governor. So the election was over, somebody else was announced as the governor. Yeah. And then later on, he was announced as governor. Then he was impeached, then he came back. So he had plenty of this struggle with trying to, like, just be the governor of the state. Yeah. So I think that, like, he actually qualifies to be a public candidate, even though he's, like, has become part of the elite, because now he frolics with them and, you know, he's in their parties and their weddings.
So, how you exactly categorize Peter Obi? You categorize him as a populist or a member of the elite?
He kind of fits the vibe, but it's not lost on me that he's from the establishment.
Yeah.
He has been there since when? 2007. He's been there. Yeah. He's in bed with them. He was in Queen Jonathan's government.
Yeah.
He was in was a two-time governor of Anambra State, and his message was to move us from consumption to production, cut down government spending. Our government spending is very inefficient. We said every year we're buying products, every year we're buying chips everywhere. So we spend too much. And yet we still complain of not having enough money.
Yeah.
But in Nigeria, to solve the Nigerian problem, these candidates, all three of the major three, the LP candidate, the PDP and the APC, they came with a message that to solve our economic problem in this country is we need to cut down on the subsidies.
Yes.
We need to cut down on the subsidy, petrol subsidy, the foreign exchange subsidy,
electricity subsidies.
Electricity subsidy. They all had this idea. Actually, the streets are still up.
Yes.
But if any of them had come into power, apart from the guy that is in there now, would they have done the same thing and dare the backlash?
So
just like Javier Milei did in Argentina.
So
will the approval rating still be there?
He wouldn't be there.
So but I also think like
his approval rating would have suffered a lot.
Nigerians suffered we are still suffering.
Oh, the suffering is
too much.
The difference between Nigeria's one is like, at least in this case, you're not thinking of him being corrupt or the money that you're trying to conserve, you're using it to settle political dissent.
So there's that question of like, we are saving this money, but what are you using the money for?
Exactly. So they are seeing the result, like their economy is recovering from recession.
Yeah.
So like,
and just even the optics of like, because for example, you were saying we are not going to pay this amount again, but then the National Assembly's all got 160 million worth of vehicles. So we are like, Okay, so what was the whole point?
Yeah. So, but then, like also like when it comes to Peter Obi as well, there's also this blend in the sense that it's kind of necessary for whoever is in a Nigerian position to still somewhat mingle with the political class.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
So
you have to.
some people will say like, yeah, he just had to, mingle to a certain extent, certain degree, and they'll categorize him as like a maybe not a full-blown populist, but
No,
like
he's
a
not.
lesser devil of some.
If we were to have a true populist, that's to be a complete outsider.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not seeing any outsider that
Yeah.
can come in and just ride a wave.
Yeah.
Right, you have to surmount tribalism
Yeah.
factor, a religious factor,
Yeah.
poverty factor. There's a lot of
hurdles that
for
you
you
need
to
to
scale.
Yeah.
If you are going to ride a populistic movement, a true populistic movement from the outside,
that's
and
true.
win an election in this country, and also in a country such as ours, there's too much problem in too many ways. The problem is multifaceted. You can't have one single message and say, okay, this is what you want to do. Yes, you want to do production to consumption. But Nigeria doesn't have a vibrant steel industry.
Yeah.
We don't have electricity. So how will you be able to do that? We don't have electricity. We don't have we don't have steel. Maybe we have fertilizer. Fertilizer is out of the reach. We just recently achieved petrol energy sufficiency.
Yeah.
Our gas sector is not yet well developed. Transport sector is developing there, railway
Not
and
up to
everything,
standard.
but it's not up to standard yet. So if you come in, people
address
have
those
to
hurdles.
understand that it is going to take time.
Yes.
But do Nigerians have that patience?
I don't think we have a choice. Because now, like, we have a government here, and like, there's this, as you mentioned, we are suffering.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm seeing that, like, everybody is starting to say, like, we don't even have a choice.
Yeah.
What is the alternative?
Yeah.
For these other governments, where they are starting from is
Is it
much
better?
higher.
Is it higher
It's much
mileage?
higher.
Yes.
They have much
stable
more
systems
stable
at
systems
least, yeah.
around that. Okay, the only issue was it has just been mismanaged. We don't have it at all.
Yeah.
We are just building.
Yeah,
it.
starting
Alright, so-
afresh.
So the person we need right now may not even be a populistic person.
Okay.
What we need is someone with the agenda of we are building fundamentals.
yeah.
The fundamentals have to be right. So it's not really an us versus them. That will not be your main message. It can be your main message, but Nigeria's problem is not really an us versus them right now. Our problem is even them, they are also fighting hard to get more money, because when you steal as a politician, I'm not trying to make a case for them. You steal as a politician, the money is still going back to your people.
Yeah.
If not,
But it's a limited set
they're
of
not
people.
coming back.